Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be doing a short tutorial on how I O-ring mod my Tofu65 mechanical keyboard. The Tofu65 is a tray-mounted keyboard, which means that the plate and PCB is fastened directly onto the case by screws. This will result in a typing experience that is rather stiff, as there is no room for the plate and PCB to flex while typing. Therefore, with the O-ring mod, it will help to soften the typing experience and also provide an even sound across all keys, which will directly create a more even sounding board. Before we start, here's a brief sound comparison before and after the O-ring mod. So there are a total of 6 screws in the Tofu65 keyboard, one in each corner, one below the spacebar, and the last one between the keys G and H. In this mod, we'll only be using 4 out of 6 screws. I've already O-ring modded this keyboard, but I'll be going through the steps again to show you how it's done. First things first, you have to remove the PCB from the case. If you have watched my previous video where I built this keyboard, you may have noticed the spacebar sounding exceptionally loud during the typing test, and that was due to the packaging foam I installed for sound dampening. The foam was pushing against the bottom portion of the PCB, which created an overall tighter fit and feel on the spacebar. With doing this mod, I was able to keep the foam while avoiding this issue because the whole PCB is offset upwards, which gave enough clearance for the foam. The only item you would need for this mod are silicone O-rings. I got mine from an online shopping platform and they were marketed as silicone O-rings for bracelet charms. I'm not really sure what they do or what they are used for, but I assume they are used to keep things in place on a bracelet. These are different from the ones used for keycaps, as shown on the left here. The ones I'm using have smaller inner and outer diameter while having a thicker radius. This allows more room for compression, which suits the needs for this mod. Carefully balance the O-rings on the standoffs in each corner. Once that's done, carefully place the PCB back onto the case. Be very careful not to accidentally knock the O-rings off the standoffs while placing the PCB back in. If placed correctly, you will be able to see the O-rings through the hole. Do ensure that they are all in place before proceeding to screw them. After putting the screws in, do not tighten them yet, as there are some special considerations regarding this screw hole. Do a brief check by lightly pressing on the keys, ensuring that there is a slight bounciness on all 4 corners. This means that the PCB is resting properly on the O-rings. To tighten the screws, I recommend using a light screwdriver or a plastic one such as the one I have here. This is to allow your hand to be more sensitive to the tension of the screws, as you do not want to over-tighten them. Use 2 to 3 fingers to tighten the screws and stop right as you feel some slight resistance. Repeat it with the other 3 screws. You can always come back and tighten them more if you feel that the bottoming out force is too soft, and tune them to your liking. For this screw in particular, we have to tighten it a bit more due to the USB-C cutout. The silicone O-rings offset the entire PCB upwards, and this will cause the USB-C port to push against the top part of the cutout. This causes unnecessary stress onto the components in the long run. For keeping your eyes on the USB-C port, slowly tighten the screw until it slightly lifts off the top part of the cutout. When done correctly, you can see the PCB flexing when applying pressure. And there you have it. That is how you O-ring mod your Tofu65 mechanical keyboard. Do a final check to ensure that the PCB moves under pressure. You can always go back and tighten them further if needed. And now, onto the typing test.